Good morning, Rebecca Vigas here. It's a sunny day in South Central Kentucky after a rather miserable rainy weekend. I'm kind of looking forward to the sunshine. So, today we're going to talk about why dead men float and what we can learn from them. Really? This pertains to writing how? Well, it does. Dead men float because they don't do anything to prevent themselves from floating. Same goes for writing. If you don't do anything to prevent yourself from writing, like throwing your arms up and screaming, I can't do this, chances are you'll do just fine. Long before Tom Wolfe wrote The Right Stuff and The Bonfire of the Vanities, he was a journalist struggling to write his first magazine article. He did his research, he sat down to write, and became, as he described himself in an interview for the Paris Review, totally blocked. I just felt I couldn't do it. Finally, says Wolfe, he decided to type up his notes so that some competent writer could write the piece. I sat down one night and started writing a memorandum to Esquire's managing editor, Brian Doble, fast as I could, just to get the ordeal over with. It became very much like a letter you would write to a friend in which you're not thinking about style, you're just pouring it all out. And I churned it out all night long. 40 typewritten, triple spaced pages. I turned it in the morning. That afternoon, I got a call from him telling me, well, we're knocking the Dear Brian off the top of your memo, and we're running the piece. Wolfe's essay, There Goes Vroom Vroom, that candy colored tangerine flake streamlined baby, appeared in Esquire in November 1963. And immediately it led to a flurry of magazine assignments. So, you know what he did? He was frustrated that he couldn't write what he wanted to write. He was looking for perfection. So he sat down, he wrote a letter, and he said, I can't do this. And this is why. And here's all the material. In essence, he wrote the article that he was destined to write. And that's the way it goes, guys. Conclusion: if you want to be a famous writer or simply finish the memo to your boss, stop saying I can't and learn that you can. Just sit back, stick the pencil in your mouth, and start talking on paper. Not thinking about style, just pouring it all out. As soon as a word comes from the mouth of the creator, it must be executed. Delay may mean alteration, which is frustration, or the will has been checked in its forward movement. It halts, it hesitates, it reflects, it reasons, it changes its course. This faltering and waving interferes with the freedom of the artistic mind. D.T. Suzuki. Okay, so take out your work in progress, whatever your work in progress is. Read the last paragraph you wrote, just the last paragraph. When you're done reading the last paragraph, continue writing. Don't say I can't. I taught for 28 and a half years, 22 in special education. And my students would always say, "I can't do this, Miss Vegas." You know what? We wrote "I can't" on the board. Underneath it, we wrote, "Never say these words." Choose "I don't understand," "I need help," "I'm confused," "This is not working." But never say "I can't," because you're selling yourself short. You can. Take out a sheet of paper and list all the reasons that you can't. Then turn around and create positives, all those reasons. I can because. I can do. I can write. Then, once you've listed all those, take out your work in progress and start writing. Because truly, you can write. You can talk. You can put your thoughts on paper. My book, Secrets, had 2 starts, and they weren't working for me. They didn't work with the premise in my mind. And these starts were 2 or 3 handwritten pages. But they were not working for me. And they were in the spring of 2004, maybe 2005. I don't remember. One of those 2 years. When I sat at my computer in November of that year and started banging out on my computer the words that would begin secrets, they worked. It wasn't that I couldn't do it the first 2 times, it's that my approach to it was wrong. Imagine that. I got it wrong. I could do it. I did do it. 21 days later, it was finished. 50,000 words. Someplace I have the certificate. That says I wrote Secrets, 50,000 words. Mind you, that was prior to editing, and that's roughly 175 pages when you put it in a book. We have ended Joel Saltzman's first section of his book, and he actually put a pop quiz in here. There's 10 questions, and you can't go wrong. The first one is, if you don't succeed, A, throw your book off a bridge. B, throw your book off the bridge. C, return this book and demand your money back. Or D, don't be surprised. Hopefully you've got D. Don't be surprised if your first attempt does not succeed. Even professional writers blank get it right the first time. A, always. B, more than always. C, hardly ever. Or D, never. Never get it right the first time. 3, writing is A, like throwing spaghetti against a wall. B, like going to the bathroom. C, like really cool, man. Or D, rewriting. Oh, wait, it's rewriting. According to Ernest Hemingway, the first draft of anything is A, suitable for framing. B, something your parents would like. C, the best it's ever going to be. Or D, shit. Yep, D's the answer. Blah, 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 blah is A. B is blue, C is red, and D is gold. And I hope you've got gold in mind. If you are driven to write, the only thing that's tougher and more anxiety producing than writing is A, running around the block without any clothes on. B, running for president. C, running for president without any clothes on. Or D, not writing. You better have said D. If you don't know what to say, A, keep your mouth shut. B, smile slightly and people will think you know something they don't know. C, send a Hallmark greeting card. Or D, start saying it. You got it. It's D. Bob and Mary both started writing at the same time. 30 minutes later, their teacher collected their papers and said, Bob, 95% of what you've written here is not very good. Bob turned to Mary and said, A, who cares about this crap anyway? Writing's for sissies. B, say, you don't know where I can buy a, say, do you know where I can buy a semi-automatic? Or C, hey, I'm doing really good here. Should be C, I'm doing really good here. His 5% of what he wrote was good. 9. Woody Allen's first version of Annie Hall was a chaotic collection of bits and pieces that seemed to defy continuity. As a result, Woody found himself A, back in therapy, B, back in therapy, C, back in therapy, or D, sharing an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. D. And 10. Remember, writing is blank on paper. Simple as that. A, best done. B, spitting. C, bleeding. Or D, talking. That's right. It's D. So in part 2, we're going to do writing versus talking on paper. And we will start that later this week. I have somehow managed to misplace my Bonnie Neubauer book. I don't know what I did with it or where it disappeared to, but I will find it eventually, and we will get some more of her wonderful writing prompts because they are wonderful. That's why I chose her to begin with. So for today, read the writing prompt. I've already given it to you. Happy writing.